Hel- Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Hey,
It's your president and your VP. And we're back once again. And this time around, hey, we just got one thing to say first and foremost, and that is happy birthday, America. 250 years of this country that we live in. And by the way, we couldn't think of anything or any way better to celebrate this occasion than to go with today's review, which is Team America World Police.
yep.
Which is a 2004 movie made by Matt Stone and Trey Parker, who, if you have been living under a rock, then maybe you didn't know that they are the producers of South Park, but I'm assuming that you do.
Well, not only are they the producers of South Park, but they're also the creators, the writers, the directors, and voice actors in some of the roles in the show.
So this movie is really just basically essentially them.
Yep.
And it's puppets
Yep.
on strings. And we're going to get into more about that first and foremost. But first, the budget was $32 million, and it made $50.8 million, which makes it a flop, unfortunately.
It does.
It holds a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Yes. It's
I'm
pretty fair.
genuinely shocked, actually.
Pretty fair in that regard.
I thought Rotten Tomatoes would have given it a lower review.
And it premiered on October 15th, 2004. So it probably had a lot of competition as you were heading into the holiday season.
Yeah.
And in October, you start to get those Halloween-themed movies, too, so there could be some very stiff competition. So anyways, this movie is a satire on a very prominent event that was happening in that time period, the war on terrorism. I don't think there's really any other way I can say that.
More specifically, the Iraq War.
More specifically, the Iraq War. And but yeah, this was a fun one for us to do. So let's just get right into this thing because it's a bizarre, absurd affair to say the least. So
the movie opens up in Paris, actually, France, which they hilariously describe as being like 1,000 some odd miles east of America, because in this movie it's so America-centric, because this is part of the comedy, right? It's so America-centric that in Team America World Police, America is the center of the world. Anyways, so the movie opens up in Paris, right, where the stupid reveal. This is what got me immediately. Like 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes into this movie, this reveal right here just made me crack up laughing. But anyways, Mr. Terrorist, as we're going to call this guy. There's many different characters in this movie that we call Mr. Terrorist. But anyways, we're going to call him Mr. Terrorist and his terrorist friends, right? They have what is described as a weapon of mass destruction in their briefcase. And then all of a sudden, you just hear, America! As the plane flies in with Team America World Police on it. And it's just...
Now, I think you have to point out that sometimes America in general can throw everything it has at a really small problem, and I believe that's kind of where they were going with this.
As basically, then, like, in the process of taking out these terrorists, they wound up blowing up, like, half of Paris, mind you. Like, destroying half of Paris in order to eliminate these terrorists.
And to really get the plot going, okay? So after they do this...
It's straight up like in Counter-Strike, Here, I'll put up a screen here where it says this,
So after they do this, one of the team members, he's not important because he proposes to Lisa, but he's not really important as far as who his name is, because he immediately sleeps with the fishes as soon as he proposes. It's satirizing kind of the, oh, it's my last day on the job. Oh, I've got a girl that I'm going to go home to. That stereotype, that trope in movies.
And when Mr. Terrorist's
this-
friends comes up and he's basically just like
With a pew-pew.
you know.
And makes him sleep with the fishes.
Yep.
And this is to really get the plot going because now the head of intelligence, this is kind of important.
Which I think is a parody of The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but I'm not too certain.
It might also be a dig at like the CIA and MI6, which is a real organization, but
Both, yeah.
So,
The CIA and MI6 are both real organizations.
so he's like, oh, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to go out and find a replacement. So they cut to New York City and Broadway. And there's this over-the-top actor delivering this over-the-top Tony performance.
Here, we just gotta play the clip for yourself.
Roll the footage.
Yeah.
Not much
Yep.
there, but
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
he meets up with him and he's like, hey, come here. And the guy's like, oh, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. I see what's going on here. You want me to perform some, shall we say, favors for you, and then you'll get me to see a Hollywood director. And the guy's like, what? Are you crazy? No, I need you to come with me. And
It's very obvious what they're poking fun of there.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah. That's neither here nor there.
Nope.
So, anyways, he meets up, and this guy's, by the way, he's a very central figure. His name is Gary, and they immediately are like, hey, we want you to join the team. You're the best actor we've ever seen. By the way, he probably really isn't, but it's that whole thing.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, we cut over to North Korea, which they show is also like 2,000 and some odd miles
It's
away
like
from.
5,000 miles east of America.
Because Kim Jong Il in this movie is
West.
is the stand-in for
Saddam Hussein.
and probably Osama bin Laden
Yeah.
too at the time.
Yeah,
If
but
we're-
more specifically because it's the satirizing the Iraq War, it's Saddam Hussein.
And they poke at him so hard in this film, guys. Every word that he speaks that has an L in it is replaced with an R.
Yeah,
So
which
he's
leads
like,
to
I
hilarious
gotta go
moments like
get-
this.
I gotta go work on my plans. That's just one example.
Which leads to hilarious moments like this.
There's a whole song dedicated later
Yeah.
where he's talking about how he's so lonely, only it becomes I'm so rotary.
Yeah.
And it's so absurd.
Which, by the way, this movie is partly a musical, which was not expecting.
Yeah, which if you had seen some of the previous work, he probably would have as
Listen,
Fun
I know,
fact,
South Park, Big Longer and Uncut is a musical.
and
I know.
their previous work, which maybe someday we'll get into. I haven't really revealed too much of what their previous work before even South Park was.
Yeah, I know that one too.
So maybe we'll do that one someday, guys. Not right now. Anyways, so Gary is now part of the team. And as we said, over in North Korea, Kim Jong-un has given some Chechens some WMDs. And so they have dressed Gary up. And my son, he's like, they would not do this.
I'm like, there's no way.
They're
There's
not gonna
no
do
way.
this.
They did.
Here. Just
Oh my god.
mind you, it's not us, guys. We don't.
This okay, so yeah, they dress Gary up like that.
Yep.
And with that being said, they then head over to Cairo, Egypt, where you get the iconic song from the movie. I can't play any of it because we're going to get copyrighted, but let's just say
We had to
that,
keep these that we've shown so far to like 5 to 10 seconds,
Yeah.
guys, are still images.
Yeah.
It is
So,
what it is.
anyways, with that, like I said, they go to Cairo, Egypt, and somehow because Gary is this world-renowned actor, better than Alec Baldwin. Don't worry, that becomes important later. He somehow was able to basically speak fake Arabic. I'm not joking. This is something that's actually happening. And gets into this club where there's a bunch of terrorists.
And Team America World Police comes in, and they start they start shooting the crap out of everything.
Yeah.
The Sphinx gets destroyed when they use an incline to propel the terrorist across the sky into the Sphinx.
Here, well, put that there. All right.
Meanwhile, our friend Gary has actually been like kind of grouped up with the terrorists, and he's like, "Oh well," because right before that, they're like, "Oh, we're going to turn around and we're going to take ourselves and we're going to drive right into them." And Gary's like, "Wait, what? We're going to do what now?" But then Lisa comes in last second on a motorcycle. We hadn't really mentioned the other ones yet, but Sarah's kind of there, and there's Gary's rival who's like, "Well, I don't trust actors," and that kind of becomes important too because they're really satirizing kind of like the whole Top Gun element in a way too.
So anyways, and so Lisa basically saves Gary, right? And in the process, when they're saving Gary and taking out these terrorists, they wound up blowing up like half of Cairo. I'm not even joking. Like one of the Great Pyramids of Giza wound up just getting completely destroyed. And as Dad mentioned earlier, the Sphinx is just gone, right? So as the response, the terrorists then wound up going to the Panama Canal and making it blow up.
And lots of people sleep with the fishes in the process. Meanwhile, Gary and Lisa have now developed into a kind of a love story as they're, "Oh, what's wrong? Oh, blah, blah, blah." And then Lisa's like, "Oh, promise me you won't die." And he's like, "I can't promise that." And she says, "Promise me and we'll make love right now." And this leads to some of the most absurd things you're ever going to see. I don't know that your eyes are going to be prepared for what you're going to see then. And by the way, guys, it's pretty on the nose, and it's probably just way too long in our opinions. And I don't feel like it was necessary to run the joke as long as they did. It was kind of
to be fair, we did watch the unrated version of the movie, so the theatrical cut of this particular scene might be shorter.
It might be. Along with another scene that we'll point out later. Because as it turns out, they're basking in their success. We're going to move this along a little bit. He's basking in his success. Meanwhile, Kim Jong-il's like, "Hey, you guys can't be going around screwing things up. You went over there, you blew up the Panama Canal, and now I got to go get the Hollywood actors involved in all this."
Which, by the way, the Hollywood actors, they are a part of a union called the Film Actors Guild. We are not going to repeat what that is.
We're not going to spell out what it's abbreviated to, and we're not going to say the word that it ends up being because we're not these kind of people.
We can show you what they're saying, but we're not going to repeat it, as there's a certain group out there that finds that word highly offensive, and we will not be repeating it.
And we're not those kind of people.
Yes.
So anyways, like we said, we're speeding this along a little bit now. So Gary is now, and we're skipping a whole bunch of stuff here, but Gary is now a recluse, drunk, bum.
No.
And I need to make this point because apparently he failed in his acting ability. Got some people to sleep with the fishes in the process. He ends up leaving the team in disgrace. And then he is shown as this pathetic drunk, and it's a scene that goes on entirely too long.
Yeah.
Because it's just Gary, it's just projectile vomiting. There's no other way I can describe it.
It really is
projectile vomiting for like 2 to 3 minutes straight. And it's highly unnecessary. But to make a long story short,
that scene should have been cut. Anyways, so the rest of Team America, they wound up getting captured by the North Koreans. And in the process, the leader of North Korea gets a song, as he mentioned earlier. It's honestly really funny. I actually giggled a lot at it. So with that being said, he's like, okay, now I got to get the actors involved in this, and then I can detonate all of the WMDs, in a very over the top villain way,
And then their intelligence had been destroyed at this point,
Yep.
which had led to a really funny joke where they were like, "We have no intelligence.
We have no intelligence."
It was very funny.
Yeah.
So to speed it along, though, Gary is now having to be recruited back. He realizes he's made a mistake. He comes back. He sees the leader. The leader makes a call back to when they first met. I'm not going to repeat it because it's homophobic.
Yeah.
And that's all I can really say about it, guys.
Yeah.
There's no other way to really say it other than that's what it was. But anyways, he's back. They do a little montage thing because you got to show how you got better. And even Rocky had a montage. They point that out.
Yeah.
And so he's all better. He comes back. He helps them save the day. They take out Kim Jong-un, make them sleep with the fishes. Psych! Not really, because he's actually a cockroach who then crawls out of Kim Jong-un's mouth, scurries onto a little rocket ship, and skedaddles into space, possibly setting up a sequel that we never get, which is also kind of a throwback of Austin Powers. Matter of fact, guys, this movie has a lot of tropes that you'll be very familiar if you've seen it, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you've seen stuff like Austin Powers or even later on, that movie with Robert Downey Jr., which was also problematic, Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Not so much because nobody really cares about these things and nobody really cares about some of the stuff that was in this film, but it is highly offensive. And a lot of y'all out there probably won't really like it.
Okay, yeah. So there's one joke in this movie that I also really don't find funny because, for one, what they're joking about is not funny. But, like, this guy, his rival, right, he kind of, like, tells Gary why he doesn't trust actors because apparently he saw the musical Cats when they came to its town, right? And some of the actors invited him backstage. And, yeah, you kind of already see where the joke is leading to. That is not funny, mind you. Like, that is one part I will criticize this movie about. That is not funny. Like, what they were joking about there is not funny, guys. Like, come on. Be more mature.
Which I know, but you do have to turn your brain off because if you do think about this and you'll let yourself get too worked up, too offended over it, then you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
But if you just realize that they're poking fun at a lot of things, and a lot of the points that they made in this movie, guys, are still very relevant today in the climate that we live in.
20 years later.
Yeah, 22 years later, the points they made in that film are still relevant. So if you want to have a good time and you want to kind of shut your brain off a little bit, yeah, go ahead and give this one a try. Let's get into the fun, which, like we said, happy ending, by the way, because Team America, they won. Yeah, the roll credits.
They stopped Kim Jong-un from
releasing
the weapons of mass
possibly set up a
destruction.
sequel that never came, probably because they didn't make enough money on it. So let's get into the final thoughts on this one and the final ratings. For me personally, it was a 3.5 out of 5. What say you?
Also 3.5 out of 5.
And some of the reasons why we've already mentioned, like the gross out humor, was just while it was probably necessary and it did add relevance to the plot. It's not like these things were there just for the sake of them being there. It's that they went on for far too long.
Yeah.
That's my issue with it. I will say that the writing and the directing and the fact that they were even able to put this on screen with the puppets was a tremendous undertaking in itself.
Yep.
And they should be highly commended in the fact that they were able to get this on screen in the first place. So, but of course, if you have seen Team America, World Police, and you believe that it is the worst Matt Stone, Trey Parker film that you've ever seen, well, then I challenge you to just go watch Orgasmo, because that one, which we mentioned earlier,
Or basketball, or no, what?
Basketball,
Yeah.
maybe possibly basketball as well, but definitely go back and if you really believe that. However, as we often say though, hey, don't take our word for this because we're just Two idiots with a webcam. Our opinions do not matter, except they actually do, because we have a YouTube show, except they actually don't. So, with that being said, guys, stay tuned because we're back better than ever. As we said, there's going to be more and more content. We really wanted to put this one out for you guys today because it's 4th of July. As you're eating your hot dogs, your hamburgers, give us a try.
Yeah.
And with that being said, there's only one thing left for us to say. Kind of flub that up a little bit, but that is peace and love from Denny and Son. Bye.